What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Outlast trial, specifically, obviously, the gameplay trailer that we got at Gamescom. I co-streamed it, and you can even go back and look for my kind of reaction. I was blown away by it. I did, come up with the idea that, could it be there, could it not be there, and we were right, thinking that it was a pretty solid possibility, so it was really gratifying to see it there, and it was exciting. It was an exciting thing. I really liked the trailer, and that's, part of what I want to talk about in this video, but it also looked very action-y. It looked very fast-paced, and I don't exactly know what the title of this video is going to be as I'm recording it, so I may jump around, but I'm going to talk about a couple different topics in that as well. Like, is it too action-y? Is that okay? But again, let me start off by just saying the trailer, I liked it a lot. I did. I did think it was pretty fast-paced, and especially, it started off pretty slow in a good way, like an Outlast kind of way, and then it kind of very quickly picked up into more of an action-y game thing than what we may, relate to Outlast, normally. And so, I watched it a couple more times. Well, we watched it live then, and then right before I did this video, I watched it a few more times, and I feel like I have a better respect for it, and I actually think I like it more now than I did when they showed it at Gamescom's live stream, right? Obviously, the news that it's been delayed till next year is disappointing, and they didn't give us pretty much anything besides just the year, so it could come out anytime in 2022, although, if we're looking at kind of history and how developers do this stuff, you can most likely assume this is second half of next year, probably like the fall of next year. That's just kind of my 2 cents thrown in. In terms of, the gameplay itself, though, I, again, am warming up to it. I felt like when it was happening, there was a bit too much, like, confrontation. And, if you guys have played, I assume you've played the Outlast games, and I have too, actually. I'm not a fan normally of, like, horror things. I definitely don't do horror movies almost at all. And in games, I am more into them, but not, like, the biggest in the world. But Outlast has always been something that's captured me. I've played both the games. I've loved both the games. And, again, I think it started out very much like the past Outlast games. But then as it got on, it became a lot more of like where you're physically fighting, you're throwing like bottles at enemies to knock them down. There's one scene where they do that. There's actually a cool scene where an enemy jumps out of a closet, which is cool because I think you're going into the closet in that scene, like you're trying to hide and then they kind of pop out at you. But there's a lot of confrontation. You're placing landmines to kind of defeat enemies. So it'll be interesting to me. And I don't want to sound just all positive just to be all positive. I do have concerns, and that is a concern, right? I don't want this game to be well, I actually wouldn't mind it, but because it is the game that it is, like Outlast is the franchise that it is, I don't really think it would mesh well with what we've already done, right? And and really, what does that mean? Simply, it pretty much means like there's no fighting back in Outlast games. You know what I mean? It's literally you hide, you run away, you don't you don't, I guess, get into situations, right? That's pretty much the game. It's not necessarily it's not an action-y game. You're not actually fighting. So, obviously they're changing that up a little bit, and it's because it's a different time period. They're more like all test subjects now. I imagine the test subjects, things are going to happen where you're going to probably like break out, or bad things are going to happen, almost like a cabin in the woods kind of situation, I would imagine. But it seems like early on you really are just in maybe procedurally generated, or you're in like real areas. But remember, like in the beginning of the trailer, you're entering like test tubes kind of, and it's almost like VR, right? In fact, that's the poster of the game, is you have like the headsets, your characters have the headsets on. I believe now, well, we know this, you can play it with other people online. In fact, it mainly seems like it's designed for that, but I do believe Jeff Keighley, before he showed the trailer, he did say like you can play it single player. Now, I don't know if bots operate everybody else, or you literally just play it by yourself. I try to look up like articles on the game in terms of like if anybody did interviews with these guys, right? Like after the reveal, nobody did. So I'm not. Maybe you guys know this. Maybe they've said it in the past and I just missed it. So definitely, I'd love to know. So I'm asking you, like, honestly, to let me know if you guys know that. That's something where it's like, I think if the game is designed in a way where you can play it single player or you could play it cooperatively, I would feel better about it versus if it's just cooperative, right? Because if it's cooperative, I don't know. We've talked about it before. Like when you add co-op to horror games, you do flat out make it not as scary. I really don't, and that's not inherently a bad thing, but I really don't see any way around, at least in my opinion, that argument. You know what I mean? If you're playing it with a group of friends, even literally if you're playing a horror game and you're playing it alone, say at night, right, like in your living room, it's just you in the game, it's gonna be scary. Add in people, add in, I guess, light, but if we're talking about just like people around, add in like you have 3 of your friends like sitting on the couch with you. I think factually it probably is less scary. Now, I don't have a test to show that, but I just feel like from my own experience, that's kind of been... Now, you can get scared together, but I feel like just having people there is going to make it, a little less scary. So, you look at that, and then you look at the game itself. I think it's honestly the same thing for playing a game. You're playing the game by yourself. It's going to be more scary because it's just you and the enemies. And then if you add people to it, well, now suddenly it's a little bit more full, so maybe it's not as scary. But again, I think they offset it pretty nicely, at least based off what we see in the trailer, with just a load of enemies. There's a lot of diversity in the way of like just all these different enemy types that I really like. Again, like they're not all like boss kind of things, like they seem like just normal kind of like grunt level enemies, but they look cool. They all look like they have their own unique... There was the one that literally looked like Scarecrow, like he could like poison you into like thinking things are there that they're not really there. That seemed to be hinted at in one of the sections of the trailer. So it definitely looks cool. It really does. I'm very much excited for this game. The trailer, again, like it raised questions because it was a lot more faster paced than I thought it was going to be. There was a lot more action than I thought, but like it didn't, like my excitement was very high. It didn't bring it down like at all. In fact, it probably added to my excitement overall. It did just though raise more questions. I need to see some segments of it. I need to know about that, co-op thing, or if you're playing single player, is there bots, or are you literally just alone? We obviously saw some teamwork, happening in the trailer, which we knew that. They had said that last year, actually, that those kind of sequences were going to happen in the game. So I want more. I want the release date, but those are all things, obviously, we're going to have to wait for. But let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you think? What do you think about the gameplay trailer? What do you think about the game itself? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. I will be covering this game much, much more as the months and years potentially go by, but I do want to cover this game quite a bit, so you can look forward to that. If you guys want to support me in any of my other social media, I have a Twitter account, I have a second YouTube channel, I have a Patreon and YouTube memberships. All the links for those are in the description below if you guys want to check it out, okay? Thank you for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.